Chérie, chérie, le beau Paris, c'est tout.
Hello and welcome to Paris Set Me Free, Paris photo tutorials, and today I'm going to take you to one of the darker sides of Paris. I never pretend in what I say or in the photographs that I take that Paris is all lights and music and happy people and well-waxed legs and all this sort of thing, these sort of cliches which we associate with it. And if you wander around Paris enough, pretty soon you'll realize that. Have a look at this picture. You've got your typical Parisian boulangerie with beautiful displays in the window, lovely shop front, very very classic. Here's a good old Parisian tree. Is it a plane tree? One of those that sheds its bark very often, so it gets rid of city pollution in one of those typically round things that it's allocated. And talking of the dark side, well, have a look down here in this corner, and this is what struck me. It's pretty typical of Paris. How do you say pauvreté in English? Next to this glamour and expense, people who have next to nothing, and that's what caught my eye, as I say. Let me show you where it is. It's in the north of Paris. Maybe you can just read that, Rue de Crimée. Now let's have a look on the map, which is a new thing I'm doing to let you enjoy perhaps more these tutorials, to see exactly where we are. Here's Paris, and we're going to go up here. You see the canal snaking along here? Well, we're going to zoom in on that a bit. There it is. You start to see the metro stations, Stalingrad, Riquet and Crimée, and there's Rue de Crimée, which is what we just saw. So I'm going to zoom in on Crimée a little bit more. There we are, and it's on one of these corners. Just going back to the shot, you can see Rue de Crimée. So if we zoom back in and we put our little guy down here, let's see what we can find. Okay, Avenue de Flandre. See, typical, pretty typical Parisian boulevard. Nice central area, lots of trees, and there is the metro station. Now that's where we want to be heading, I think. Let me just check. Yep. So we're heading over here. Let's see if we can do it. Rue de Crimée. And there it is. So if you look at this boulangerie here, and you look at my photograph, you'll see that it's the same. Okay, and this panel here, where this lady is sitting, is in fact here. I try and zoom in on there, and it doesn't want me to do it, so I'm just going to go back. Alright, so that's where we are. That's the metro station. We can have a look at that in more detail, if it allows me to do so. Where have I gone? I've zoomed off into the middle of nowhere there. There it is. That's the other side of the boulangerie. Beautiful Art Nouveau metro entrance. But what I'm going to talk about today is this lady that I saw walking along. Took a series of shots. I often take a series of shots trying to get an idea for the subject and get into the feeling of what I want to show. And you'll see that as my shots went on, I've probably eliminated quite a few already, but these were the ones that I left as my final selection. You can see that I'm thinking and I'm trying to get absorbed almost into the situation and see what might be the best. There's a little face peeking out from behind people bustling along with their shopping bags full of goodies, and her goodies are in this little plastic cup here. I'll show you the process as I continued. So you see I just took a few there, and I must admit I wasn't quite happy with it. For a start, you could see her face quite reasonably clearly, which isn't what I really want to do in a photograph. So I wandered around a bit more, back round to this side with the metro station, and discovered this lady. There she is, right next to the metro. Don't know if you can see that in this picture. She's maybe hidden down here. Well, no, what am I talking about? Sorry, this isn't my shot at all. So there we are. Took a few shots of this again. Now what struck me very much was the handout with the little glass or plastic cup and a couple of coins in there, and these Muslim ladies with their heads bowed and veiled. You don't know whether it's in shame or in timidity or humility. It's difficult to say really, but what I started doing was focusing in on the hands, and the result was these photos. Now I took 2 photographs and I put them together, so it's a diptych, and I can't fit them all into this screen, but you can see the effect that I've gone for. One larger photograph and the smaller one of another lady in almost a mirror position. They were almost next to each other, but they were on either sides of the boulangerie. And you click on one of them and it becomes bigger, and the other one goes smaller. If you click on the big one, you get my page, which sort of the index page as it were, which shows both of them. There they are on either sides. I've called this effectively Effaced. And basically I start struggling to know what to say really, because the pictures are so powerful in their own right. The images, which I turned into pictures, were so poignant that, you know, what can you say? The picture speaks for itself. These 2 ladies surrounded by grey anonymous concrete and some out of focus road markings, and this terribly poignant hand in both cases. You can see the lines of the hand, you can see they don't seem to be too dirty, but the way I've played with the photograph, I've made it quite sharp. And this upturned hand, this little humble little cup, the bowed head in both cases. And you then use your imagination to imagine what these people's lives are like. These ladies who spend their entire day sitting outside or inside metro stations with their hands out, with little cups. You always ask yourself, what do they do with that money? Do they go home? Do they give it to their husband, their family? Is any of it for them? What's it like spending your life? Because they do. They spend their lives sitting with their hands out. You don't know about their home life. You don't ask about it. You don't have conversations with them. Very few people do anyway. Occasionally you put a coin into their little cup. But it's one of those mysteries. Who are they? What do they think about life? We think about their lives. What do they think about their lives? And do they think about our lives? Are they bitter? All sorts of questions go around in your head. So that's the darker side of Paris, which I've captured in these photographs. And it's necessary, because if you're reporting on any big city, there's many sides to it, and homelessness in Paris is a major aspect of the city. That's it for this time. Maybe the next one will be a bit more cheerful, maybe not. Thanks for visiting. See high quality versions of these on the blog parissetmefree.blogspot.com, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Depuis que je suis à Paris, le jour et la nuit, je suis gris. J'ai compris la douceur de vivre. Je suis fou de joie, je suis ivre. Depuis que je suis à Paris.